And you're alive.
Okay. I guess that means we are live. Hi, everybody. I am Jaxler, doing some Pseudoregalia for you. Apologies, this was supposed to be the second run on the schedule, but I had cataclysmic internet issues, and so I'm at my brother's house. So shoutouts to Jaxler's brother for making this run possible. And shoutouts to the whole crew as well as Exotic Sponge for allowing me to swap around and make sure we could get this to y'all. Joining me on the mic, I got my buddy Ashi, if you want to say hi.
Hey, hello. It's me.
Yeah.
What's up?
So because y'all donated for it, we're gonna get to show off 100%. This is like by far, like I think most people in the community's favorite category. It's just got so much cool movement to it. If you've never seen this game before, this is a indie 3D Metroidvania with imagine Castlevania 64 if it were good. Is the way I would describe it. It's just got yeah. I'm sorry, that's shots, but it's just like
It's got all the sauce, honestly. That's
it
that's the
has,
only way I describe it to people.
yeah, it's just got the sauce. If you like your slide kicks, if you like your movement, you're gonna really enjoy this. Apologies in advance. This run is going to get off to a very fast start. We're gonna try to do our best to cover as much as possible, but this is Hundo. This is an out of bounds category. So we are gonna be seeing some out of bounds tricks as well. But I'm good to go. So if we're good to go on the timer, I'm good to get started with this run.
Yep, we are ready to get going on the timer.
Okay. So time is going to start when I say go. It's kind of a weird start because it starts as soon as we gain control in the cutscene. So we're going to start time right about now. Okay. So welcome to Pseudoregalia, everybody. We're playing as Sybil, the goat lady, and she can only jump at the moment. And then as we progress through the game, as is with Metroidvanias, we'll unlock new abilities to be able to get around to more places. So first thing we do at the start of the run is grab something called Dreambreaker. It's our primary weapon. The attack and like sort of, I don't know, mana system of this game is kind of similar to Hollow Knight, where when you deal damage to enemies, as we'll see with this egg fella in a moment, it builds up a meter in the left corner of the screen underneath our health. And we have different properties when that's like fully leveled up. So you see I build up a little bit of that meter right there. And so we want to make sure that we have our meter filled up all the way by a certain portion of the run. And so as we make our way into sort of the hanging cage room, you're going to see me do a trick called a gainer. This is kind of like a side flip in the Mario games where I make Sybil skid and then input a jump to get a side flip. But I reverse the direction as soon as I get the jump to redirect her momentum forward. And so by doing that, it allows us to sort of get a higher jump there. But it's also going to be a fundamental step in another series of tech and movements that we're going to do once we get the slide. We're going to be getting slide in just a moment. Once we get it, I'm probably just going to shut up because this is when like all the movement tech and like the APM starts to come into play with this category. So we're going to be getting slide here. If you've seen it like a Castlevania game, it'll look pretty familiar. But we're going to be doing some really cool stuff with it. So, Yashi, would you be cool explaining what a slide ultra is?
Yeah, so a slide ultra, you can sort of combine the inputs of the gainer somewhat. You saw the slide ultra to get up to that. Sorry, I'm a little overwhelmed. You're going so fast right now.
All right.
That's a slide ultra. It's a huge jump performed by doing a slide, holding the stick back, pressing the jump button to initiate the skid, and then you can flick the stick in another direction and jump again, and you'll just launch Sybil in whichever direction your stick was facing.
Yeah, and so we use that to go backwards through Dilapidated Dungeon, which is normally not intended gameplay. You're supposed to go take on a mini-boss called Strong Eyes and get a small key to escape. But instead, we can go through this hidden area in Underbelly, and we can grab another one of our required upgrades for 100% early, which is Ascendant Light. Ascendant Light's kind of like the Pogo from Hollow Knight, where by attacking into enemies and things like torches, we can bounce off of them. We'll see that a little bit, but this is just really out of the way otherwise. And so it just makes sense to come and grab this now. And we get to boost off of that enemy right there, so that's the Ascendant Light in action. And then right here, I'm going to attempt to carry some momentum off of this moving platform, and then do a gainer jump out of it to flip into the heart piece just like that. So in order to satisfy the requirements for a 100% run, we need all 10 progression upgrades, which is just like new abilities for Sybil. We need to collect all of the green bonus abilities, so those are things like extra damage, a couple of utility upgrades, and then all 16 heart pieces. So that's what we need to 100% the game. And on top of that, we also need 5 major keys, which are these golden keys. That allows us to unlock the final boss. So we're going to do 2 big slide ultras, one there, and we're going to do another one for this small key right here. So like I said, like the small keys that the game normally intends for you to get are really far out of the way. But because we can do this sort of slide ultra technique, we can get to a lot of keys that require vertical movement abilities, and it just makes the routing a lot better. So like I can get up here, for example, with an ultra, just like that, and then we get to do a big one right here as we go through this room.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah. So this is kind of a relative, I'd say, how long have we been doing this? Like a couple weeks, where we used to go the other way to get to this locked door, but now we're going this way. So it's one of those things where, because this game is so new, we constantly have to like relearn different ways to go through here. So that's probably the most like important green power up in the game, which is helical power. This gives us a kick midair. This is supposed to be a upgrade for a like standard progression ability, those like white orbs that like have like the smoke around them, which is the sun greaves. It gives you 3, and then that upgrade gives you a 4th. But the game will give you a single air kick even if you just picked up helical power, which gives us a lot of extra movement utility. So we can use it to kind of extend momentum that we get with this, as well as bunny hopping off the ground is something we'll do a fair bit here.
It's so cool that it gives you just the extra kick. It's huge for this, and even randomizer, which is really fun. You should all try it out.
Yeah.
You guys should all try it out.
Yeah, you should all try it out. There's also another thing that Jaxler has been doing. Probably going to go for it again here. Right there, that jump out of 2 slides. It's called a knee slide. Some people have different names for it. But it's just carrying the momentum from a slide by doing kind of half of the ultra input. But instead of doing a side flip, you're able to just jump out of it if you perform a second slide and jump
so
on the same frame.
Yeah, it's really tricky. It's one of those things where only reason I'm at all good at it is that I grinded the any % category, because we'll be getting an upgrade to our slide that actually will prevent us from doing the knee slide glitch. And now we get to do tower climb, which is basically in every category like one of the best areas for movement, just because we get to do a lot of cool slide ultras. So I think we might just let this speak for itself. Nice. Let's see if I can do this. Ah, tragedy. I'll go for it one more time. This one sucks, but it's cool, so I'm gonna go for it again. Yeah, there we go. And let me see if I can get the gap. So this is, we're gonna make use of the air kick here to, oh, I beefed it! Tragic. Alright, so I gotta go for, I think this is the backup.
Yeah, it's a backup. A big part of this game is backups, small backups. This one is one that most people will probably come across, but there's just a lot of just really minor adjustments you can do if you flub something, and you'll end up losing like only just a tiny bit of time if you really know what you're doing.
Yeah, so right there we get Cling Gem, which is a wall ride ability. It is arguably, besides the slide, the second most broken progression ability in the game. Wall clinging, like, it is very glitchy, but it also just gives us a lot of vertical utility because generally the way that progression in this game goes is you get slide, you explore for a bit, and then you either get one of 2 abilities. You either get Sunsetter, which we'll get at the very end of the run, or what most people get, which is Sun Greaves, which is this air kick. But again, we only have one, so now we get to do Empty Bailey full clear, so I'm going to do an air kick right there so I can re-grab the wall, and then we're going to see wall cling regrabs there. I don't know if you want to go into that, because we'll see a couple more of those in this section.
Yeah, so the wall cling regrab So he's jumping away from the wall out of a wall run and then kicking back towards it, making sure to perform a slash afterwards because the slash prevents the kick from actually connecting with the wall. That can also be used to grab ledges. It's a very useful technique.
There's so many like little like things like that just make this run super there's so much like we're gonna miss some of it. So we got Solar Wind right there, which is a slide and then jump. In any percent it gets skipped, but it's hundo, so we grab it pretty early on. And so now because of the slide jump, we can actually pretty much get to full speed and bunny hop without needing to do the knee slide glitch, which is really nice to have. We also have a pretty recent discovery that makes use of Solar Wind now, so it's really good to grab it early. We're also going to grab a small key as well as Indignation. This is just a combat buff rather than like a standard progression upgrade. So I mentioned earlier that we have this like kind of mana system. We want to make sure we have level 3 on that, so fully filling up the bar by the time that we get here. Because at 3rd level, we get increased damage. Right, I'm gonna do this for Yashi. Where's my mouse? There it goes. Just to confirm, big pants, but I'm gonna wear professional because it's cooler. Yeah,
Not
so
required.
Yashi is they're not required, but I just love the fact that the game's only accessibility option is to give the main character pants. That's pretty great. So we're gonna go through Listless Library. We're gonna grab our Sungreaves. We're gonna see examples of 2 techniques for the first time here after I grab the 2 items behind this locked door. We have something called Moon Kicks and another thing called Clean Clips on the way out. Yashi, would you mind covering what a Moon Kick is while I'm on my way there?
Yeah, so a Moon Kick is combining the kick with a Solar Wind, the rollout technique he's using right here. You'll see it. If you perform a kick like immediately after doing it, you'll just go up. You'll just start going to the moon.
Yeah.
It sort of gives you like an anti-grav effect that I suppose is applied to Sybil while she's doing the Solar Wind technique in the first place, and you're just sort of transferring that into a kick. And you can continue to stack them if you have multiple kicks. And have each of them give an anti-grav effect. So you can go really, really high with just Solar Wind and some kicks.
Alright, right there we're going to grab Sungreaves, and this is a bit of a tricky setup, but I'm going to be attempting to do what's called a clean clip to get out of bounds here. Oh, first try! I'm sick! Okay! That one's really annoying. So with cling clips, essentially you can, like, if you do certain inputs on the stick, you can trick the game into wall clinging onto a wall that's embedded out of bounds. And that lets us do a lot of cool out of bounds stuff. So I did one right there just to do a hazard warp so I could immediately exit the library without having to backtrack. And now we're going to grab a little heart piece here and kind of begin the next cleanup segment. A lot of fun little movement through here. This is kind of just like a fundamentals section before we get into... I guess, like, this is kind of... I don't know if you would feel the same way, Yashi, but this kind of feels like, to me, where mid-game begins for this category.
Yeah.
Where, like, the difficulty level sort of spikes.
This movement right here, first off, probably the sickest bit of movement in the game.
I think I got it? Ow!
Unfortunately.
Dang. We'll just get out of there with some moon kicks, no big
Yeah.
deal.
I'm
Imagine
sorry, but I can't
Sybil
believe
went
this
up.
gets harder.
It gets harder. Oh, it gets way harder.
But it gets a lot more fun, too. That's the thing.
Yeah. So we got that heart piece, and then we're going to be going for, I would argue, probably the hardest small key to find in the game.
Yep.
I don't know anybody who found this on their own, including myself, but it's pretty tricky to grab too, so I'm going to focus on the movement here for a sec. This will be another example of seeing moon kicks, where I'm going to have to use the 3 that I got from Sungreaves, as well as the 4th one. Oh, do you want to explain reverse wall kicks?
Yeah, if you're up against a wall and you sort of flick the stick the other direction and then perform a kick, you'll sort of kick the wall, I guess not really from the other side. It's just sort of bouncing you away from the wall relative to the angle that you're, like, coming in at, which just happens to, like, push you right back into the wall again. So if you can combine that with the moon kicks to just go straight up a wall, it can be a little tricky to input. There are some ways to make it easier, but they tend to be like maybe a little bit slower and a little
Yeah.
goofier.
There is one setup that I will use to actually make there's a setup that you can do to make them free, but it kind of complicates other things, so it really depends on the situation. You might have also noticed earlier that we can actually see now. Ascendant Light gave us the ability to see in the dark, but earlier we went through here. Oh, I'm not supposed to go this way yet. Oops. That would have been bad. We gotta do maybe my favorite. This might be my second favorite part besides I guess theater. Although theater's kind of hard. This is martial prowess. I don't know if you want to attempt to explain what's going on here. There's a lot.
This is starting with an acute angle wall clip. We love acute angles as speedrunners.
This one's also really rude sometimes. So.
Yeah. Sybil is going to be deposited on top of a ceiling, like a one-way ceiling.
There we go.
And just kind of struggle to fall down. There are a couple spots that are more consistent with falling down, but you can just see how wild this is.
Oh, I missed it. I went for the funny. Oh, and I went out the exit too. All right, I won't go. I promised Yoshi that I would go for a swag ultra off of that crate out of bounds, but I beefed it, so we're just gonna do it the normal way.
I can't believe there's math in this run as well.
Oh yeah. There's math. There's a lot of things going on in this game. This game's really fun.
This has it all.
All the stuff that's just barely sticking out of bounds and it's useful. Oh my, really? This game has
and
it
then
all.
you can do this. Oh, let me through.
That's
Thank you.
Scary. That's scary. A bit of weird movement here to avoid a respawn trigger right there.
Yeah, and then we can just leave. Underbelly's item sets are they're pretty spread out, so we kind of do Underbelly in multiple trips in the Hundo route.
You guys mind if I butt in real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so we do have a donation real quick. Just reminding everyone, !donate. It's that simple. We have a donation that's $25 from @of_Newt. Love them. With the comment Gator:3. So if you're a fan of Lowell Gator game and you want Claus to get all of the friends, make sure to donate. We do have, I think we have another one open, but I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. But still, donate. Donate for Iowa. Donate for gay people. Gay people are PogChamp, as the cool kids say.
Okay, I hit this on cycle. Holy crap. So that was kind of a hard part right there. Oh, and I got owned. Tragedy. Okay, we should be good now. Nope.
Uh-oh.
I get farmed. I get farmed by these axes so hard. I hate this is my least favorite room in the game.
Sometimes you can get really unlucky and your breaker can just sort of start bouncing up and get stuck up there. I don't know what you do in that case. You can actually go to save points and hold, I think it's the heal button to make it come back to you. That's not a mechanic that's explained in the game. It's something you can, I guess, sort of just discover on your own because Sybil's hand starts glowing when that happens.
Yeah.
There's a couple hidden things, like if you toss it on purpose, it'll also start generating light, just like what Ascendant Light did, but you don't actually need the ability to do it to be able to see.
Right. You want to explain what's going on here?
Yeah, so this is just huge out of bounds. Going up Bigley style, as we discussed earlier, moon kicks, reverse moon kicks.
Broken.
Yep, avoiding a couple respawn triggers. Going to grab that beautiful green orb up there.
Oh, and I got the clip out first try as well, thank God.
Wonderful.
That clip can also just be randomly really annoying for no reason, and it kind of stinks.
Seems like there's just a spot on the wall that will let you through.
Yeah, so we're kind of accomplishing a couple different things routing-wise at the same time. I'm going to shut up for just a second. Uh-oh.
This is the scariest, stinkiest part of the run, I think.
I have to try to save this with a... I'm not going to be able to. Okay, so I can't... Because I lifted that grate, I can't clip out of bounds there anymore. So I need to go for the ye old backup from, old any percent routes. or something like that. Oh, first try, nice.
Look at that clip. There's just a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
We love that.
And then this is the hard part. Oh, first try, please. Let me in.
Just scary? Scary?
I don't think I need a jump. Let's see if I got the checkpoint though. So I'm gonna void out here, and I'm just gonna hope this puts me. Yes.
Oh
perfect.
wow. That was kind of surprising. You were really low.
Yeah,
I guess
I
it
was
extends
really low,
far
yeah.
down.
I got very lucky there, so that allows us to clip in and grab Soul Cutter. We can't normally get to Soul Cutter otherwise because we haven't picked up Strike Break, which is a prerequisite in casual play. Also, we just clipped out of bounds again, and then this is some of my favorite movement in the game. You would think like, oh, out of bounds, that's probably stinky and not very fun, but like the out of bounds movement in this game, because there's just so much like geometry out of bounds, it becomes really fun. Yeah, it was a great save. And then we're gonna do this, fall and grab the heart piece, and we're back in bounds. Yeah. So we basically are chaining a bunch of out of boundses together to just super fast clear through theater. And then while we were doing all those like clips through the grates, we were also simultaneously hitting the 3 switches that we needed to unlock the major key. There's just so much going on. I'm gonna set up for an ultra as the door opens. There's just, yeah.
This whole segment is pretty tough, but when it goes perfect, there's no other speed game compares. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This is the best speed run of all time. This is incredible.
It's up there for sure. I'm gonna say it. I think this is the Mario 64 of PC runs.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Melee of speedrunning, and I was gonna laugh very hard. I got the clip. Nice. Okay.
I will never say that any speedrun is the Melee of any speedrunning.
Beautiful.
If you know the
except
joke,
for Melee.
So the nice thing about how this theater route works out is that it allows us to get to kind of the hidden upper area of Castle Sansa without having to do a really long like climb of a room. We'll actually be going back down there, so we can get the 3 collectibles that are up here without having to like do a bunch of slow vertical platforming. That's honestly really rough if you like don't have Sunsetter. Like wall cling makes things a lot easier, but it's just like it's less than ideal, you know.
It is unfortunate that we don't get Sunsetter, because the little backflip it gives you is so useful for backups and also just general movement stuff. It's really, really cool. Do you use it at all? Like when you get it?
There is a spot that I use it all the time in Randomizer. It is broken in Randomizer, but there's a couple of spots at the end of the Hunter route that I do use it in. Alright. So right here, I go into first person mode and then hold backwards. This allows me to freebie reverse wall kick without having to do any stick flicking. That's kind of what Yashi was talking about with like certain things you can do to set it up and make it easier.
Yeah.
Except for this one. Up. This one's hard. We gotta do another moon kick strat here. Come on.
Okay. Okay,
we're in, baby.
Okay,
let's
dude,
go.
Relax.
Nice. That's a hard strat. The funny thing too is like the old strat, the alternative strat, doesn't lose all that much time, but the moon kicks are pretty hyped there, I will say. Both like they're like I was talking to Yashi about this like before we started the run. There's like no great way to go about doing that room. It's just kind of rough. Yeah, now we're gonna go get Strike Breaker for free, which is pretty straightforward. We're gonna grab a heart piece and then make our way to the underbelly major key, where we'll then have like some more things to mention. But Limey, if you got any donations, this would be a great time.
We unfortunately don't have donations right now, but
tragedy.
That just means I get to tell everyone to donate, and I like doing that. So you guys should absolutely donate. Midwest Speed Fest Fall Frenzy is benefiting One Iowa. I don't have the sheet right now with all the things I should say, but trust me, One Iowa is super cool. They help LGBTQ plus people in Iowa. We're gonna be going all weekend. Check out the schedule! Exclamation schedule. Donate! Exclamation donate. You know, all the typical marathon stuff. It's gonna be a great time this weekend. But yeah, Jaxler, you can take it away.
Yeah, we got a really good time because we got one of my favorite rooms coming up.
This room's so cool.
Every category I feel like has a really cool way of doing this room. This is the hundo way, so we do ultra up here. We do kick into setup for the ultra, and then we do solar wind, wall kick, and then we wall ride, and that allows us to skip the puzzle where we're intended to use soul cutter to hit some switches. Soul cutter we didn't really mention when we grabbed it. It's like a projectile attack. We're only really going to be worried about it and using it in the final boss because it will allow us some DPS. But
You're also not able to use it until you get Strike Breaker. They're sort of like connected in that way. Not that there'd anything, not that there'd be anything to use it on.
Let me see if I can hit this. All right, kind of got it. That's a
cool.
strat that Thulius came up with, that it saves like a couple of seconds if you nail it. But it's a little tragic. it's pretty tough. All right, now we're going to be going for by far the hardest trick in the run. This is keep key clip. Different categories as of lately have different versions of this. We're going to be doing the hundo version, and I'm just going to shut up here because this part's really hard and it was giving me grief in practice.
Yeah, so Jaxler's going to get this first try.
I wish.
I believe. What are you on about?
So this gate sort of extends past this wall a tiny bit, I think.
Oh, third try?
Yeah.
Okay. Please? Yes,
And
saved it. Okay.
The idea
All I'm
just
saying is that was
trying to
actually
cling
first
onto
try.
That was first try. Did you ever touch
believe
the
it.
ground after your first attempt?
Yeah, I have before. Now we gotta do this part. We believe we have a theory that this is frame perfect. So this might take me a couple of tries. We locked ourselves in, so we have to clip out over here.
Nothing you can do about it. Speaking of frame perfect, this game does have a little bit of frame rate stuff. Nothing egregious. But there's some so like the knee slides, which aren't being done anymore and haven't been done for like 15 minutes now. You have to input two things on the same frame. A lot harder to do when the frames are much shorter. So Jaxler's playing on 70 frames per second right now.
Yeah. Certain other things are also affected by frame rate, like collision. So that setup that we did there, even though it was third try and still didn't look that consistent, does not work for me at all on 60 FPS. But on other frame rates, it works like nearly perfectly consistently. So as a result, I play on 70 because I learned the game on 60. So it's like a frame rate that works that is similar enough to 60. So I don't have to rememorize things like my knee slide timings like Josh was talking about. So we finally grabbed Sunsetter. This is kind of our ground pound, and we can also sort of do a DuckTales sort of thing with it, where if we jump after ground pounding, it gives us a high jump. But we won't be using it too much. Outsider right here, because it's just a little faster. We save this green orb. We used to do an out of bounds for this clear mind, but it ended up being routed out, which is kind of sad because it was one of the coolest strats.
It was so cool. I put it into the route and I was thinking I don't think this is faster. This might actually be slower, but I just never timed it because it was just too cool.
Yeah.
But it's gone now.
It's over. All right, so outside of two things in Tower Remain, or one thing in Tower Remains, we have gotten everything in the game. So if you look at our menu, our hearts are filled up. We have basically everything. Gonna do some reverse wall kicks as a backup right there. Now we're gonna head into Tower Remains and do the final boss. So the final boss in this game, if you're playing any percent, it is like a nightmare. But on Hundo, because of all the upgrades we have and some strats that we can do with those upgrades, she's gonna probably melt, which I think is very nice revenge for. In any percent, you get good runs and it's difficult, but it's like you have to pray that Princess is nice to you, the final boss. In this
Starting
game,
to
it's
run
very
Hundo, it's cathartic when you first do like a good strat and just make her explode.
Alright, we're going to do some moon kicks up here because it's a little bit faster. Sweet. And then we're going to be doing one more slide ultra right here in order to skip a segment of Tower Remains where you're supposed to hit some switches and learn how to use wall cling. And then I set up for the gainer after grabbing the key so I can immediately start moving. It is very scary because you can just miss and fall off. I have done that before. Not on PB pace, but like on a no reset, I have done it. It's always embarrassing, but it
I've
is
seen
funny.
lots of clips of people posting it in the speedrun channel.
Alright, so what I'm going to attempt to set up for this fight is I'm going to fall down and hold forward. So I'm going into like a corner of this hexagon. I might not be on the right one. I am definitely not. I still got her though.
Oh,
So you can hit her with 2 strong attacks midair, and she gave me the
oh.
she gave me like the
She goes a little wonky if you attack her like as you fall down. I don't know. I guess something about like her decision queue gets mixed up. This fight is affected a little bit by randomness, which attacks she can use, and that noise you just heard means she's on her second phase. So, not that you like got to see any of the attacks yet, but she's gonna start doing slightly different stuff now.
Time
like
will be
teleporting
coming up
around more.
soon. Time is on final hit. That is time. Okay.
GG's.
GG's. I kept it under estimate. I was a little all over the place. But let me go ahead and mash through and see what my IDT was. We don't generally use endgame time for our leaderboards because I believe it's a little bit wonky and like manipulable, if that makes sense. I might not have the correct science on why that is. 28 IGT. Okay, I will take it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty good. For this for the conditions I'm in right now.
I cannot believe that was close to estimate because I was just entranced the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely.
I got kind of bodied by key clip, but I promised that I would go for it. So, yeah, that was 100%. I want to shout out my brother who's very generously letting me invade his personal space and uses home Wi-Fi so that I could do this because my Wi-Fi died. So huge shout outs to my brother. I want to shout out Yashi for couching and hanging out, having a good time. Good to have you here.
Hey.
Yeah, I also want to just shout out some people from the Pseudoregalia community. I want to shout out Thulius, who's the current world record holder in this category, who's just an absolute god at this game. Thulius rules and has found a lot of stuff that's really fast. Sometimes I don't like it because it's really hard, but Thulius is just that goated with the sauce. So thanks to Thulius for making this run super cool. I want to also shout out Killing Pepsi, who's another Hundo runner who has worked really hard on this category. But yeah, I just want to thank the whole Pseudoregalia community. I want to thank Ritz for making such an awesome game. And again, I want to thank Midwest Speedfest for being so flexible with me with this whole thing. And thank you for donating for 100% because I really didn't want to play any percent.
That's actually so real.
Any percent's
There's like
really
the incentive
cool.
being the
No?
category you actually want.
Yeah, no, any percent's really cool. But Hundo is just, it's so fun. It's so fun.
There's so much, and also it's longer, so there's more game.
More cool movement. Yeah, it's just a sick and twisted run. If you want to run this game, we have a community Discord. It's the same Discord as like the Pseudoregalia, just general Discord. So come hop in. Pace Proxy has a good video on learning the basic movement for this game. Things like slide ultras and e-slides or glides, things like that. Any percent, like the world record is like under 12 minutes, so it's pretty easy to pick up and get your first run going. So come check out this game. It's really fun.
And it's $6.
It is $6 on Steam. It is such
$6 for this movement? Are you kidding me?
It's
and if you're trying to budget, you can use the other $4 of that to donate here for charity, and also buy the game.
Yeah, please buy this game. Support the dev. But yeah, that's pretty much. I think that's all that I got. Other than
Before we head off, I want you to plug yourself. I want you guys to tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, Yashi, if you want to go first.
Okay. I don't know. You can find me on Twitter. X, posting really stupid garbage that sucks, and also on Twitch sometimes playing really cool games that are great and tons of fun.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, like this one. I guess that's it.
Yeah. For me, I stream at Jaxler1. I also will retweet Yashi's nonsense on Twitter as well. Jaxler SR. And
who doesn't at least once a year?
Yeah.
Honestly.
I guess I'll also throw out that if you like seeing this game, make sure you keep it on in the background while you're watching Midwest Speed Fest. But we're gonna be on Hotfix later this week too with Randomizer, and then GDQX with any percent. So if you like this game, this is the best time to be a part of the scene. So come join us. But I think we got to get moving so that we can keep things on pace. So just want to say thanks to everyone who showed up and watched the run, and hope you all have a great night. Thanks for checking this game out.